welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun day. We put together this data community during self-isolation. I'm not a broadcaster. I'm not a podcaster.
Okay.
I'm just a human who is lonely. That's all. And this thing just started to happen. So I always like to start with, what city are you in and how the heck did you survive? This has been a heck of a year.
Good question. So
and then we'll get into some of the data stuff, but we like to keep this more like human than other stuff. But how did you survive and where are you sitting?
Where am I sitting? I'm sitting in Richmond, Virginia, Central Virginia.
Yeah.
And then how did I survive? I would say...
If you survived.
That's... I may have already peaked. Who knows?
And I got you on the show today then.
Yeah. I think it's mainly been through, I'll say, still computing and still doing data science no matter what. And then having a good, loving family and some outdoor time and some powerlifting time. That's really been my secrets to success.
All right. So out of all the ones we're going to talk about, we're going to go with powerlifting.
Okay.
Because that to me, did you do that before COVID or that was during COVID just so you don't go crazy?
No, I had started that in the fall of 2018. So yeah, it really put a dent in a lot of things. I was truly gearing up for a competition in Virginia Beach in July of 2020. That didn't happen. Yeah.
No. Oh God. All right. Well, you got to finish the story. What's the competition? Are you chopping wood? Is that the big one?
Oh, no. So there are three major competition lifts. There's the bench.
Okay.
There's the squat. There's the deadlift, and the maximum sum of all three of those is your total. And my goal was to win at least one of those in my age and weight group. So,
congratulations. So now let's finish the story. Are you lighter now or heavier?
Well,
because we could do the competition. Are you saying hello to French fries again? I mean, where are we going?
Well, it's kind of like the meme that's gone around. If everybody gains 20, 30 pounds, then nobody gained 20 or 30 pounds.
I didn't see that. So good. That's a great one. So, I got to say, for me, the first 30 days, it was just like a scary, lonely time. And just the world was crumbling and it just got me down. And just built this community for self-isolation and just tried to just meet people and never thought to build a large network. Some people like building a large network just to say we're the largest. I wanted to build the smallest, most connected network. We ended up just growing pretty fast, but because I think we're coming out of this phase and I'd like to start meeting the people in person. So I've tried to get to the situation where we've been able to meet so many executives because we're not traveling 100,000+ miles anymore.
Yeah.
Calendars are easy. And so sometimes we're on the show, we're just talking just about life. So I appreciate that.
Well, one of the things I've loved I've listened to about a dozen podcasts, and it's, I guess you'd say, since, especially anytime I'm listening to it on my, I've got my boss phones on, and I'm having a conversation because what everyone is talking about is so relatable. So when you talk about building a small network of people who, have a good sense of what the other's talking about, I feel like it's a community. It's really nice.
Yeah, no, I agree. So then the new topic, I want to throw a new topic on here, on this riff. And I just finished a podcast and I was asking the same question. You're an adult. I'm an adult. We've seen things.
Yeah.
We have the war wounds. So I don't know when, I read it today, but I don't know when it was published. But Google is starting to call their employees back starting April 1st or today. And if you want to work from home more than 14 days, you need approval. So I'm not saying they're not giving approval or not.
Yeah.
So my question is, if you're one of the groups that were able to pick up and move somewhere, Hawaii, Texas, Wyoming, is summertime over? That's what it feels like. Is it like, oh man, school's tomorrow? Or are you like, oh yeah, I can't wait to go back to work? I mean, Wyoming, Texas, Hawaii, pretty nice. I don't know. So where are you is summertime over? That's a random way to think about it, but what are your thoughts?
That's pretty deflating. I think there's like three big things that, corporate America got exposed on during COVID. One of those being that, no matter what industry you're in, controlling for, different sectors and stuff like that. The reality is there's always been at least a slight bias against those who work from home.
A slight. Okay.
Depending on where you are, slight to strong, but I think
that's funny.
I think what COVID did was, for those who are most vocal against it, they got to sit home and had to actually be productive. So that was kind of
well said.
That was a, you know, a welcoming, you know, welcoming event that way. But there was also there's also a sense of like, you know, we all know, because we're all in meetings with people who just, they stir stuff up, you know? So the fact that
Guilty.
you can't,
Guilty.
your work product isn't volatility, you know, you're actually having to work now, you can't politic, that got exposed. And then the final thing would be, you know, if you leave smart people alone to do their job, don't forget, you said my number one priority was X. Don't come back a week or 2 weeks later and go, hey, we got a new number one. No, come on. Let's get real here, first of all. And second of all, then it kind of leads to a conversation that's like, I think corporate America realizes if you leave smart people alone to do what you ask them to do, they'll actually do more.
Agree with all three of those. And I want to double click on the third one.
Okay.
Because that's the one I can't forget. Smart people, give them their space. And now you're giving them their space. And that space might be a jog. That space might be a car ride, or it just might be just quiet. Just,
yeah.
You know, like I'm not on a plane. I mean, you're really giving people space. And I do agree. I think the people that are productive are 10x more productive, and they're living a 10x better life. That's a big lift there, but I just feel that it's just another riff. But if you think of like sports and LeBron James, last year they won the champ. 4 months without travel, it does a lot for the body.
Yeah.
Right. So to your point, great people, give them a great space. You hire them, trust them to be the adult.
But there's also a sense of like in there's, I don't know, you said something, like Vin Vishashta was talking about, the fact that I can take a walk and clear my mind anytime I want to. Like that is such a big deal. Now, whether that is me getting up and, you know, playing some musical instruments, whether that's me going outside and take a walk around the lake, it doesn't matter. It's on my terms. And that gives my train of thought some freedom that it's never had before.
When I do those walks, sometimes I just need to clear my mind. Sometimes I'm walking because I have a problem I got to solve, right? I'm like, oh God, I don't know how I'm going to get it. So I'm going to walk. And what I've also learned during COVID is like just being out there, I'm not picking sometimes problems. I have enough in my workload to think about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then sometimes just I'll be listening to a song and then the answer to the problem will find itself. Are you finding that also in some of your journey right now? Where
literally can't say it better. That's exactly it. Whether, like you said, sometimes it is, you know, I need to figure out an algorithm, which model to implement. And then other times it's just, I want everything out, just flush standard in.
Yep, that's exactly how I'm doing. That's what I'm saying. I can't go back. Now, my other idea that I want to pitch to you, it's a random riff here, but so we have PTO, right? Paid time off.
Yeah.
We have vacation days, and most of the world outside of Silicon Valley still has. Silicon Valley, you pretty much have unlimited vacation days. The rest of the world, you have to accrue.
Right.
So I would like to champion like maybe rethinking some of the vacation policies and have errand days, because I think that's the one thing we all love during this. Just like you said, like if I want to go to pick up my prescription now, I'm going to go now. I'm not waiting till end of the day. I'm not waiting before. Right. So just to be able to cruise out to CVS at 11 o'clock where there's no line is a luxury.
Yeah, it is.
I used to pick up pharmacy meds, you know, at 5:30. Do you know what it was like at pharmacy at CVS at 5:30? So, I think you're right. Maybe you have to go back to work. Fine. Maybe be in the office, but I think there is hey, I'm going to run out and do a couple of errands. Go for it. Like you don't answer to me. Like you don't have to hide it. You don't have to like whisper to a coworker, just because that culture is, hey, I don't see Billy at his desk. Where is Billy? Billy hasn't been at his desk for 2 hours. Is he interviewing? Yeah. Sarah hasn't been in that desk for 4 hours. Where is she? Was she like interviewing? Like versus, no, she's doing errands, and that's okay because you have to be here. So this is like a little bit of a rant, but yes, you're going to be back in the office. Yes, you're going to like serendipity, but yes, you're going to see someone not at their desk, and you're going to be like, that's something. It's some people it's a distraction. Some people don't care, but not seeing people at a desk is still something. I don't know your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean and it's so weird because if you know they're at the office and they're at a big meeting, you're like, okay, we're in this together. We're not at the same place, but we're all working hard. But if I'm doing something that relieves some stress, that means I'm not going to perform as well in that big meeting later today. maybe you should just look the other way, or question why you have that bias. Why is the bias that I need to be at my desk so you can do your job?
Yep. That's a culture thing. Yep. And you and I have the war wounds. We've been there where you're like, it's an hour for lunch, not an hour and 7 minutes. And I'm like, are you really tracking my time?
Yeah.
Like, okay. Or like, you have to be in at 8, not 8:15. And I used to say, like, I know it says 8:15, not 8, but you didn't see me up at 6 a.m. on the call with the international group. So I'm late 15 minutes because I was on a call. Or, you weren't at the house last night at 11:15 at night when I had another call. Like, you get to these weird dynamics of time because now I'm seeing you. I'm seeing you every day.
Yeah.
It's a weird, adult kind of way to think about it. But you're right. In this global world where disparate teams in different time zones, you just get the work done.
And there's almost this sense of like, I don't know about you, but I took one calendar day off last year, which means I was doing some work every day of the week because I wanted to, because there's a leave me alone so I can try something.
Yep.
And I'm not saying I worked 8 hours every single day, every day of the year, but there was always, I allowed myself the freedom to think of a problem a different way. And that doesn't happen when you play time cop and time police. You're losing some innovation.
Yeah. And on that little bit of a rant, I remember not the day, but like the time where I lost that work-life balance. And for me, it was the day my company many years ago gave me a BlackBerry. And you had to be approved to get a BlackBerry. I was at an ad agency and we worked on a big account, and the big account said, we want to be able to get access to everybody at all the time. And it sounded so special. I got approved to get a BlackBerry. I was one of, 200 people, right?
Yeah.
Worst day of my life. Because now you loved it, but now you're walking home, you're on it. You get home, you're watching TV, you're on it. And I think for me, that was the moment where now I try so hard to put those barriers in, because I agree with you. I do think I work every day, and it saddens me to say that. But I just think for me, my moment was when I was given a BlackBerry. And what was your moment where you think, if you had to look back on it, when was this, it's so easy to work, I work? When do you think that traced back to?
I'd have to not to suck up, but literally the same thing. Like, I went from one boss who was like, you don't have a cell phone? Great for you. Because there was a period of time where I gave up cell phones because I was so frustrated about the disparity between what US cell phones would allow you to do technologically and where like South Korean phones were. I'm like, this is a joke. I'm not paying for this. And when my boss, again, gave me that phone, it was like, great. Now I can go to, I can be in class. I can be at home. But then you think, wait a minute, I'm at class. Wait a minute, I'm at home. I'm at my child's doctor's appointment. Leave me alone. I've got to talk to you now. Yeah. No, you don't.
No.
You want to.
It's the hardest thing. That's where I try. So I turn off my chimes now. I don't get my Slack chimes, my team chimes, my email chimes. Yes, phone rings. It should have been shut off. But how are you with notifications? Are you turned on, turned off, silent? So what do you do with your notifications?
Yeah, very much a mix. So there are times that, like, if I'm in a sprint, then it's 100% off. Just, it's that whole, like, if this is important to dedicate my time to, right. Allow me to dedicate. Right. And then sometimes it's like, somebody, we all have that person or two that's just a little too, they share a little too much.
Yeah.
So you turn them off individually. But other than that, it's a mix. Just depends on what, what's recalled for at the moment.
That's what I say to people I work with and projects I'm on. I'm like, I check Slack regularly. I'm a little bit the opposite. I'm like, if you need me, text me.
Yeah.
Right. Because I'll have an hour delay on Slack. It's not that I'm not there, but I'm trying to be mindful of critical time. So if I'm in an email, I want to work on the email. If I'm working on something, I want to be there. And then you're right. If it's critical, I already know about it, right? If it's a critical project, you and I are already speaking and we already know what we're working on.
Exactly.
Right? It's like we're already locked in.
Yeah.
But I think that for me, going back to this conversation, you've worked all those days last year. It's just for me constantly having just a little bit of self-awareness of like, it's okay to turn it off. And like, there was a time I I couldn't. And now I think with COVID and just a lot of self-reflection and a lot of work on it, I'm trying not to go back to I'm trying not to work on weekends. Like I still draft emails on weekends, but now I just send them out Monday because, everyone like does the Sunday 4:00, send out the email. So I still sit in that habit of drafting and writing email Sunday, but I'm like, fuck it. I don't want to like bother people. I'm going to send it on Monday because I don't want to respond and get into a conversation on Monday. Like you have the waterfall effect of everything.
Yes.
Same when I get the responses. Now, when I still check my emails on Sunday, I think you and I were trained like, every Sunday is a good time to catch people. Like,
oh, yes.
I do read them, but I'm like, I'm just not going to respond.
And follow up on something you said earlier. I mean, you fall into these traps and depending on where you are and the culture you're in, I literally there was a period of time where I had to do some at-home care for a loved one. And so it was like, the problem was it was over a part of the summer. So there definitely somebody in the office is like, yeah, over the summer, right? So then I literally had to, you'd have different forms of email, voicemail, whatever. I finally had to get rid of my phone, like disable my phone, my work phone voicemail. And then when I came back to the office, I only listed, like in my title, I only listed my cell phone number. You can only get me this way. And that, that's one of those unfortunate counterbalances of like, why would you people do this?
Yep. And that goes back to our other conversation. Yes, people want the serendipity, the romance of serendipity. Yeah. It's romantic. Oh, it's innovative. It's romantic. But I think what's real is the people that just look at empty desks. That is, it exists. God willing, we have good managers that will just take the empathy and say, yeah, listen, he's got stuff to do. She's got stuff to do. Like, don't worry about it.
Yeah. And on the flip side of that, where are the people who, like, how do you justify, like, if there's a giant corporate meeting and everybody has to attend in person? I mean, really? I mean, there's no way we're all simultaneously adding value.
Right.
We're not getting something that like turns the entire company around. Like, and being home for that helps.
You and I have a lot of shared memories. How many times have we got to wake up at 6 a.m. to watch the all hands meeting? And we're like, okay, you can't answer questions anyway. Like there's no Q&A. There's 200, 400, 600,000 people on, or 2,000. So I'll just watch it. All right. I enjoyed talking with you. I think this random question is, if you could work anywhere, where is the anywhere? So again, you're in Virginia, but is it a beach? Is it a mountain? Like, where is the anywhere?
Well, I'm kind of varied. I like to go a lot of different places. So, wherever I am, pretty much. I mean, that's really, when I think about, like, it might be bastardization, but I say this, but I wouldn't mind doing some work on a vacation if that vacation, if I wanted to go to Europe for 3 or 4 weeks, then I could do work there too.
Yep. I mean, I've been thinking about where's my anywhere, and I right now my anywhere is I'm chasing palm trees and water. That's why I'm like in Miami. I think that, I feel like, and I say to like my adult friends, like you, I said, this is my gap year. This is my backpack through America year. This is like, just being smarter than you were when you were 19 trying to do it, right? But now you have Airbnbs and all the other places.
All that knowledge,
and you have all your bosses and coworkers that are just understanding this. And I think I've seen better work from my team. I've not had a team member miss a meeting. They all call in, whether they be in their car, whether they be somewhere. My absenteeism there is no absenteeism. Like, it's just been interesting when I try to plot that. And the other thing that we do is we do Mondays, we do no video Mondays, because I'm still worried about the stress that video puts on. So like you said, back to back meetings, at least for our team, I'm like, or if someone wants to get on my calendar on Mondays, I'm like, great, send me a Zoom link. I'm calling in. I'm fine just calling in on Mondays. I'm trying to like relax the brain. Have you done anything like that where being very mindful of lights, the camera on your meetings, and what have you done?
I really have kind of gotten it down to an area where there's, one of the things I did for my team, I have a good specialty in converting young computer engineers and computer scientists into data scientists and data engineers. So the focus on that is introverts and young. So, when the COVID hit, one of the first things I did was catch up with them a lot more. And then put a lot more structure in place, not for any other purpose other than nobody knows where we're going. So there's no looking up for answers. So I'm going to provide them. So I literally created a situation where we had a daily check-in. So you're seeing everybody every day.
Good.
We had a prolonged lab type meeting. Well, I say lab meeting because what we do is we present, and it's kind of like academic research where you're presenting, but you're also defending. So if you're not prepared, it'll be learning. It'll be a learning lesson. Yep. But by doing that, there's that daily check-in, and then Thursdays we're off limits. There's no contact.
Good. Got it.
We still had a group chat, chat in case we had to text each other. It's like, hey, I got to go out of town.
Yep.
But, knowing that they're young, I wanted them to be supported, and B, again, a common theme we're talking about here. You're smart. I trust you.
Thank you.
How you see fit.
Yeah. We're gonna grab a cocktail. Hopefully in a couple of months, weeks, not years, which will be good. We've got a pretty good crew of community members in your area. So some are in your sector, some are not. But are you okay if I connect you with some people locally and others? But it's weird. We've just been speaking to a lot of people in Washington and Virginia and Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Please.
Is there sectors also that you want me to connect you with? Right? Is there types of people?
Insurance. I'm kind of addicted to insurance. It's not that I wouldn't be willing to leave. It's just that's where I have a lot of competency.
I'll introduce you to. We've got some great people in the insurance. So because what I want to do again is connect the community. Yeah. Right? So get you like 3 or 5 meaningful connections, and then maybe that leads to 3 or 5 new meaningful connections. I don't know, but it stops the loneliness. And 100 intros is too many. 1 is not enough. I don't know the right number. So I'm learning as well, but the more connected we have. And Bite Shot, are you on Clubhouse? Have you followed anything on Clubhouse?
No, not yet.
Okay. Because Clubhouse is a new big audio community. And I think we're going to start trying to bring some of the community members together on Clubhouse, because it's more of like, it's on demand. Like we don't have to spin up a Zoom. It's like, hey, we might just be on chatting, just plug in, plug out. Who cares? Because when this world starts going back, people are going to be moving differently. So I'm trying to just catch the wave of how to keep meeting.
One of the things I wanted to say is I didn't want to forget Laura Adele, because I'd listened to at least 4, 5, 6 of hers. And the theme I got, I've experienced with my team in the sense of she's referring to it from a women in tech perspective. But a lot of I don't know if I'd go so far as to say imposter syndrome, but that identity and like trying to fit into this young corporate child in this old corporate world. And again, some of it's industry skew, but the fact is, I get to see a lot of the, I'll say, insecurities, and I'd love to riff with her because,
oh my God, I love it.
Because she again, what she was saying, I'm like, yes. I so relate to and have. I think one of the most poignant times was when it was right before and right after COVID hit, because I had 2 different team members with relatives abroad. One of them made it back and one was stranded for months. So being there and being mindful of, there's a balance. I want to include them. I want them to sort of be left alone, but I don't want it to be left to them too much. So there's a lot of nuances that go on.
Because Laura, she really struck a nice chord, and she does such a great show with imposter syndrome. Yeah. I told her she should start writing a book about it. But you're right. I think we should start bringing that thinking also into some of these conversations, because I think, imposter syndrome does not know sex. It does not know gender. It does not know race. It's just how the brain thinks. So I appreciate you bringing that. I'm absolutely going to connect you with her.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that'll be fun. All right. Well, listen, thanks for hanging, brother.
Absolutely. Can't wait for that drink.
Yeah, same. And there's going to be a couple of people I'm going to connect you with. So thanks for being part of the show.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Stay healthy. And if you get back to doing the powerlifting and you make it, just please keep us posted. I want to see how that story ends.
Deal.
All right.
Great.
Thanks.
You have a great day. Thank you. See you.